ALC and Company, a Noida-based chartered accountancy firm, was engaged in handling mergers and acquisitions, corporate tax, and tax litigation for the clients. Another chartered accountancy firm, namely Z and Company, is required to compute the tax liability of BST Constructions India Private Limited, which is engaged in the business of execution construction contract. So there is a CA firm, ALC, and there is a CA firm which is Z and Company. The Z and Company has a client, BST Construction, which is into executing construction contracts. In order to compute the tax liability of BST Construction, Z and Company approached chartered accountancy firm ALC and Company. Now basically, because ALC and Company has some specialist knowledge, they actually went to them and asked them for certain advice. ALC and Company is required to provide opinion on following queries raised by Z and Company. On October 1, 2019, BSD Construction made a payment of royalty of INR 5 lakh to B Inc., which is a US-based company. So a resident made a payment to a non-resident. Messrs. BSD had defaulted an deduction of TDS on an aforesaid payment. However, B Inc. has filed its income tax return in India on August 31, 2020, wherein such royalty income has been included and appropriate income tax has been paid on such income in India. BSD Construction has also obtained certificate from a chartered accountant wherein it has been certified that B Inc. has included such income and paid appropriate taxes on it. Determine the expenditure allowable on aforesaid royalty payment and interest, if any, under Section 201 of the Income Tax Act. Now, where this provision is hit is Section 40AI. 40AI provides that if a resident makes a payment to a non-resident and there is no deduction of TDS, then this amount will be disallowed in the hands of the resident for the purpose of Section 40AI. However, there was an exception earlier which was there only in respect of payments to resident, which said that even if the person who has made the payment, the payer, fails to withhold tax on such payment, but the recipient resident has filed its income tax return wherein this income has been included and the recipient has paid due taxes on it, then in that case the resident payer will not be treated as an assessee in default and therefore this amount will not be disallowed as a deduction. However, from the period from which the tax was deductible up to the period on which the tax was actually deducted, there would be an interest payment which will need to be made. In this particular case, there is a non-resident recipient. The Finance Act 2019 has now extended these provisions to provide that if a resident, which is BST Construction, makes a payment to a non-resident, which is B Inc., on which BST Construction failed to deduct TDS, BST Construction will not be treated as an assessee in default, right, for the purpose of 40AI, and therefore it will be allowed this deduction where B Inc. actually includes this income in their taxable income. In this case, you have told that B Inc. has actually included it in the taxable income. They've paid due taxes and a certificate to this effect has also been provided. So in such a case, BST Construction will not be treated as an assessee in default and therefore the amount will not be disallowed under Section 40AI. However, interest will still be payable from the date when such tax was deductible to the actual date when such tax has been paid. So on October 1, when the payment was done, right, from that date until August 31, 2020, there will be interest which BST Construction needs to pay. Now, the disallowance, like I said, is not going to happen. On the interest, you should calculate it because I just want you, it's a bit tricky towards this question. The answer we will give you towards the end of the question, right? But I want you to particularly make this calculation on this particular account. The issue is, when was the credit done? that is something which is not given in the question. What you're told is that there is a payment of royalty on October 1. So let us assume, for the purpose of your answer, that the date of credit was September 30, 2019. Right? Now calculate the amount of interest, and I'll give you the answer towards the end of the question. Let's move on to the second part of this question. On March 31, 2019, BST Construction has made a payment of fee for technical services of rupees 3 lakh to Mr. Alex, which is a tax resident of Australia. Actually, it should not be which, it should be who is a resident of Australia. Mr. Alex did not furnish a copy of his PAN and tax residency certificate to BST Construction Limited, which can be obtained from the Australian government. So you are told he did not provide you a TRC or a tax residency certificate, which can be obtained. It is not that the Australian government does not provide the tax residency certificate, it can be obtained, but the gentleman did not do it for some reason. However, he provides his email ID, mobile number, tax identification number of Australia, and an OAPE declaration. It may be noted here that India-Australia Treaty does not contain any article for taxability of fee for technical services. Determine the withholding tax rate on the aforesaid payment. Now, this question seems to be a small question, but it actually involves a lot of complication. The first thing is that a person can opt to be governed by the provision of the Income Tax Act or treaty, whichever are more beneficial. But to be able to claim the benefit of the treaty, a person is required to obtain a tax residency certificate from the local government. In this particular case, because he did not get a tax residency certificate from the Australian government, but such certificate can be obtained, the benefit of the treaty will not be available. So therefore the taxation will be governed by the provision of Act. Now when you come to the Income Tax Act, the rate of withholding tax on fee for technical services is 10%. But in such a case, there is a requirement that the person should have the PAN number. 10% plus surcharge, whatever might be there. Yeah. However, in this case, he did not even provide the PAN. Therefore, he will go to section 206AA, where the withholding tax rate is the rate as per the provision of the Act, or 20%, or the rate or rates in force. So the withholding tax will be done by 20% if PAN is not available. But there is also one exemption which was given, where, let me just take you through that exemption. So like I said, the withholding tax will be 20%, rate of TDS as per the Act, which is 10%, or rate of TDS as per the tax treaty. In this case, there is no benefit which is available for the tax treaty, because for FTS there is no rate which is given in the tax treaty, which is what you have been told. But because when I apply this 10%, I need the PAN number. The PAN number is not available, so I go to Rule 37BA, which says that you will not apply the rate of 20% under section 206AA, provided the non-resident furnishes the following details: the name, email ID, contact number that he has provided, the address he has provided. Tax residency certificate is something which has not been provided. Tax identification number of the deductee, this also maybe he has provided. But because he has not provided the tax residency certificate, therefore the TDS will be deducted at a higher rate of 20%, and the benefit of 10% will not be available.